Hello, welcome to the IGN UK Podcast. This is our last podcast of 2016.
Dun, dun, dun.
The year that was a bit of a stinker for, all the people that died, I guess.
Everyone. Let's just wrap David Attenborough in bubble wrap for the duration of 2017.
Well, so there's still about a week and a half left of this year when we've recorded this podcast. He might die between now and then.
Oh my God. Can you imagine if I've just said that?
If he does, it's your fault.
No.
Hasn't that happened?
It's whoever's bubble wrap fault. He was on bubble wrap duty. He did not put enough layers.
Well, they might have suffocated him.
Oh.
I swear that's happened before on this podcast. Haven't we mentioned people and they die a week later?
I don't think we've got that much influence.
Are we?
No?
Are we secretly?
Am I thinking of the Twilight Zone?
Rory, are we secretly the girl from The Ring?
Maybe. Well, I'm not the girl from The Ring. You might be.
Anyway, I'm Alex, and still alive is Rory Powers.
Yeah, still kicking.
And Alysia, you're still alive as well, I think?
I am staying alive, like that song. Who sang it?
Bee Gees.
The Bee Gees, come on.
Who sang it? Oh,
Who sang it?
I never thought I'd be the one on the podcast being like, youngsters, don't know the Bee Gees. Unbelievable.
I'm sorry, I've never paid attention to the singer on SingStar.
Wow.
Oh my God, that's even worse.
Forget about where all of the songs came from. It's just that it's not on SingStar. It's like, oh my God.
That's like someone saying a famous guitar track. You're like, oh yeah, wasn't that in Guitar Hero 3? He's like, oh God.
I jest, I needle.
Are you sure?
You do.
I'm not sure.
I didn't actually know it was the Beatles.
Anyway, let's forget about 2016 and
Yeah.
let's focus our efforts on 2017, which currently is looking like it's going to be a pretty good year for games, movies and TV.
It's going to be awesome. I feel like 2016 was really good as well, but we'll cover that in our review show.
Well, we don't know who's going to die in 2017.
No, we don't.
I reckon it's been a long time coming. I reckon
you're
I'm
gonna
going to die. Yeah.
How do you think you're going to go out?
Oh, that's a good idea. I think my heart's just going to explode one day. I'll just have an energy drink and a coffee one morning and you'd be like, morning meeting, and you look over and I'm just my chest is just exploded.
As long as it actually explodes and doesn't just stop.
Oh yeah, no, that'd be boring. That's not in a Powers fashion.
It's to erupt.
If the chest is actually going to explode, I feel like there should be some sort of alien involved. Otherwise, it's just a waste of a chest.
Can you just make sure you move away from your desk though, because I'll need to use that monitor and stuff for other people.
Once you've gone. You don't want them coming in for interviews and you'd be like, don't just ignore this. Just ignore 5 minutes.
If you can make it to the bathroom, that would be much appreciated.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
If you see me running towards the toilet, then you know what's happening.
Combusting halfway down the corridor.
As long as it's over sales, who cares? Who cares?
Yeah.
It's their problem.
So we're going to go through some of our personal highlights for 2017, what we're looking forward to most. So, Rory, I'm going to go to you first. What about movies in terms of...
So movies, I've talked about this very special movie that's coming up before in the podcast, and that is the Power Rangers movie.
That perfectly encapsulates you.
I know you said this when you were looking at my running order list for everything I'm looking forward to, and it's that's basically just you in objects.
I swear you still think you're 12 years old.
No, Power Rangers was 14. Come on,
okay,
you gotta get it right.
Does it feel weird when everyone says the word Power Rangers? When someone starts saying, "Oh, I'm gonna go watch Power," do you sit up and go, oh, "My name," and then they say Rangers, and you're like, oh,
"No."
Oh, okay.
Well, if lots of people go, "I'm gonna go and sit and watch Powers," that would be weird.
That would be a bit weird.
Just a circle of people waiting for
how does he do it
to combust?
Yeah, that should be a live stream. How long till Rory dies, like a big death clock?
Yeah, but what happened? It could go on forever.
It could. But again, could be any day now.
We could bet.
We could
take a bet.
Email in your bets. When do you think I'm going to die?
What's the email
at IGN_UK feedback at
Very
IGN.
good.
This is absolutely Deadpool's origin story. Are we seeing the origin story of Rory,
Deadpool?
Captain Powers.
Captain Powers. I don't think I've actually talked about this movie since the trailer came out. Which if you guys haven't seen it yet, you should check it out. It's on YouTube. And that just solidified all of my expectations. It looks dark. It looks serious. It looks mature. It looks exciting. The cast looks fantastic.
Is it all of those things? Because I could not give
Have you not seen the trailer?
I've never seen a single episode of Power Rangers stop.
So obviously
No, don't think about trying to get me into it. I don't want to get into it.
Oh, Alex, I have some recommendations. So you got In Space, you've got Dino Squad, you've got... Basically, it looks like they've done what everyone wants people to do when they adapt a childhood fan favorite, which is it's matured along with the audience who used to watch it.
Right.
So it's not as goofy as the Ninja Turtles movies. Yeah, like that. So it looks actually really mature and quite dark.
I quite enjoyed the first Turtles movie.
I only saw the second one.
Right, I've not seen it.
It was It was all right. It was all
So
right.
when you say dark, are we talking like Christopher Nolan, Dark Knight?
No, because at its heart,
or-
it's still like a Marvel kind of superhero movie. But for example,
It's called Power Rangers, for Christ's sakes.
well, that's it. You kind of have to take like the seriousness with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Because obviously, so in the first one, basically it's this superpower called Zordon, and he needs to find teenagers with attitude to become the Power Rangers. And that's kind of like he gets these like cool like group of kids that then go off and fight crime. But in this one, it seems like it's actual like I think like one of them's a criminal, one of them's like bullied at school. Like it's a really dark, like
Okay.
realistic thing.
We're talking like attitude as in the like attitude rather
Yeah.
than I've got attitude.
Yeah, well, that's what it was originally. It was just like, come on, gang, we could do this together, kind of vibes.
And that's
Now
what
it's a
makes
bit-
me think of you.
Yeah,
Like, you
it's
could
like
be-
cheery face.
How many Power Rangers are there?
There are, oh my gosh, there's red, blue, yellow, pink,
Do they not have
and
names?
then there's totally more. Then you got the
They're a
Black Ranger, the
rainbow.
White Ranger. Well, they do have. They're just called like Red Ranger.
What?
You
So
got,
I could imagine you as a Power Ranger, but what color would you be?
Oh, red, obviously,
Well,
Jason.
there's already a red.
Yeah, well, I would be him. It's me. This is me out of suit right now. You realize that,
doesn't
right?
make any sense. You need to be a new color. I'd like you to be a
All the
rainbow
colors are
ranger or
taken.
something
Can you be
like that.
multicolored?
Ranger.
That actually sounds amazing. Can you be like indigo?
They've had some weird ones. They have White Ranger, which now that
The
I'm saying
most
it sounds a bit
racist
Donald
ranger.
Trumpy. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
There's
let's stick with Rainbow Ranger.
Yeah.
Rory
Ranger.
Powers, the Rainbow
More
Ranger.
diverse.
It just looks really, really cool. And I think as long as it slots into that kind of like Marvel style where it's like a good adaptation of a childhood favorite, I think it's
It's
gonna
not
be
Marvel though, is
awesome.
it? Who
It's
is-
not Marvel.
Who actually is it? Nickelodeon?
It's
Or-
it's like the company that originally I think was involved with the production of the show, which is I think Sabian Films.
Oh my gosh! Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's something
right,
quite obscure,
right.
but maybe it's like Lionsgate or someone as well, like teaming up with them.
Right.
But it looks great. I'm very looking
Awesome.
forward to that. And if you haven't seen the trailer, you should definitely check it
Cool.
out.
I'm actually going to check it out. Like after you said
Yeah,
it.
I'll send it to you guys
Yeah.
after this, definitely.
I might watch it.
I'm gonna keep pinging you and be like, hey Alex, have you
Just
watched
keep
it yet?
slacking
Alex,
him.
Alex.
Well,
Yeah.
there's nothing.
Loads.
There's nothing on my list that I can force you to watch that you probably haven't seen already. I'm
What,
quite-
what's
quite
what's the
predictable.
film that you're looking most forward to, Alex?
Well, I wasn't until I saw the IMAX thing of Dunkirk.
that
Dude,
was
I'm
so good.
I'm so at the same place you were.
Hang on a minute, it's my choice.
Sorry.
Sorry. Anyway, I'm looking forward to this back at me again.
Because the trailer, I thought, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was interesting. But the IMAX presentation, which showed, I don't think it was a continuous piece of footage.
No,
Was
it looked like it had been
No,
chopped
It must
up.
have been
Yeah.
chopped.
But my God, that looked incredible. And the tension was just,
It was
oh my God.
so like. For the guys listening, we went and saw Rogue One on Friday as a team, and one of the trailers for the film was like Dunkirk, and it was just. I mean, how long did it go on for? It was like
Good couple
3
minutes.
minutes,
Yeah,
it
or
was
like
quite a
4
long
minutes. It was a
time.
really long, and it was just the scene of like leading up to Dunkirk, following the guys on the boats. A guy, like some guys who had a guy on a stretcher who was wounded. Tom Hardy with full-on Bane mask, like flying in
a
the air,
Spitfire.
having like a bit of a dogfight, and it's all leading up to like and it was so tense.
It was really tense. Because there was like, it's almost like, it's in the trailer as well. It feels like a ticking clock.
Yes.
That kind of accelerates as you sort of reach the finale. And obviously you don't see anything in this part of the footage because as soon as something happens, it cuts to the Dunkirk logo. But again, I think like Nolan is a master at kind of creating those sort of like atmospheres.
Absolutely.
And I think it's going to probably be quite a depressing watch, but at the same time, I cannot wait.
It's funny because it's the same thing that you said where they released a trailer that I think was just available on YouTube,
Yeah.
and I actually thought it was kind of dull.
Yeah.
And I thought, like, from the footage we saw, I was like, this looks like it all takes place in the one scene, which was a con at the time.
Yeah.
I just really wasn't that interested at all. And as soon as we saw that IMAX
yeah.
one, again, it would all look like it was in the same scene, but suddenly I was like, that's fine. I want it to be this like
Well,
one
like,
moment.
when you're
Like, this
seeing
is-
it on the screen that size, like when you're in
Yeah.
the Spitfire tracking down like the Messerschmitt and stuff like that, it was like, oh my God, that looks amazing.
it's
I
incredible.
just think it was such a brave trailer, and the bravery of that trailer has made me more excited for the movie because
Yeah.
surely that's a sign that they're going to tell this story. And it's a story
Yeah.
we all know. We all know the Battle of Dunkirk, but there was.
I know very little about it, so I'm quite excited.
Well, then it'll be an interesting film to go see. But like, there's a realism there and a grittiness there, and it was so brave in the fact that there was very little music. You know, it was. I think music is always used in films as an extra way to tell a story and try and influence your emotion and how you feel as you enter a scene. Whereas actually by stripping it away and just having it on the pure events of what was happening in the lead up to the battle and the actors and how emotionally they were responding to these situations, it made it a really... This is a really dark tale being told, and the purity of that telling in the trailer gives me hope for how it's going to tell it.
There wasn't
in the
a
movie.
single Inception. Ooh.
I know.
No.
Could you imagine if it
Which was
started with
amazing.
like, in a world where Tom Hardy's a pilot, and it's like a total like super cheesy
and then he
version of
just
that
kinda
trailer?
I am Dunkirk's reckoning.
That was your bane?
That was my thing.
Oh my god, that was
thought it was
terrible. Oh my god. I can do. Oh, we don't have it. If you have a mug, you can do a really good bane. But if you like cup your thing. So it's
Oh,
like,
really? No.
You adopted the darkness. I was born in it. That's not bad bane. No? Coming from Yoda over there. What you giggling
But
at?
that's it. Like, only do it if you can do it.
I did.
Well,
Okay, go on, Alex.
I'm not doing it because I didn't say that I can do it.
Okay. All right.
But now you like we'll
So
never,
I've-
we'll never
I've
know.
saved
I've got
face.
self-respect.
We'll never know. Unbelievable.
Well, the film I'm most looking forward to next year is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. That-
Also previewed before Rogue One.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's that... I mean, there's literally only one reason I'm looking forward to it, really. And that's Baby Groot, who I now have a Funko Pop on my desk for, and I adore him, and I look at him and gaze lovingly.
Can I be real with you guys for a second?
Oh, no. What?
I don't care for Baby Groot.
Fair enough.
I don't care for him. I know. I'm sorry. Just does nothing for me. I liked Big Groot. I thought Baby Groot was cute in that little scene. But now it's like every time I see Guardians, like Baby Groot had more screen time than like Star-Lord. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
care. I want to know what's going on.
That's
in the,
not going to be the case in the final film.
I know,
Well, I
well-
wouldn't have thought so.
But like even that whole scene with the button, I was
Oh,
just
but
like,
that's such a good scene.
Oh, it's funny.
Come on.
It was
I am
alright.
Groot.
Because I'd not seen that trailer before.
really?
No.
I don't know. I don't want him to be overplayed. Like
Yeah.
I still want it because
Yeah,
he
I
was like
agree.
a small part of that,
I agree.
and I don't want it to be like huge
No, I
big
don't think
scenes with. Like,
well, I might be completely wrong, but I think that's a good way of getting in an audience that didn't care about Guardians 1.
yeah.
Is just by having something like that funny, a little
Yeah.
bit out there.
Yeah.
Because everybody else, like us, who like the first movie, will go and see it anyway, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
I guess my fear for that was it looked like in the scene he had some really important object that could change the outcome of something.
Yeah.
And
I
I
mean,
just don't want
yeah.
that to be like a Jar Jar Binks thing where he ends up doing something like tripping over or something and winning a fight or something really cheesy like that.
We don't.
I'd rather
we
it
don't
be
really
Star-Lord and like
Marvel
all
are
those
pretty
guys.
good at
Yeah.
doing that kind of thing and making it funny but not like painful.
Yeah. I hope so. I
Know.
really
also,
hope so.
on the subject of Star-Lord, I had a realization the other day. I was singing in the shower, as you do, and I was singing the "I'm a mother Star-Lord." You know that song?
Oh, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Dun, dun. And I came out, and my housemate was like, "Alysia, are you singing like that song, the Star?" And I was like, "Yeah, Star-Lord." And he was like, "It's Star Boy." Which has completely changed. Apparently, the lyrics go, "I'm a mother Star Boy."
All I've ever
And it's
seen.
not,
you go.
it's not Star. And I think that they should change it to Star Lord and have that as the official soundtrack for.
Was that sung by the Bee Gees?
Yeah, I think it was in SingStar 2.
SingStar
It was, yeah.
Daft Punk with the Bee Gees. But no, I mean, the main reason I really love Guardians of the Galaxy as a Marvel kind of franchise. I'm super invested in the characters, and I'm really interested to see. In this year, when we've had like Doctor Strange and the world is expanding, and I'm wondering whether we're going to see a little bit of crossover at the end of this movie, and like I'm just really interested to see whether they're going to take that story and what they're going to do with the characters. I think it'll be really interesting.
I think it's going to be great.
Yeah,
like,
I think it's
honestly,
going to be a really good Marvel
that
film.
universe and those characters, it's just such a good team. There's something kind of like electric about it.
Absolutely.
It's hard to kind of go wrong if you just keep them on that line. So unless they change anything drastically, I'm just ready for them to do the same thing all over again. Like really, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be awesome.
Well, and also they've got Spider-Man coming out next year, which
God, which I'm so excited
Homecoming.
for. Cannot wait.
Basically,
It's not on my list, but
films with young boys in.
Young-
Is that what
Jesus. Did that come out right?
No, I'm telling her how it is, Rory. That's it.
Right. Spider-Man's not young. Well, he's quite young, yeah.
Of course he is.
The Power Rangers are like 18, 17. That's not a young boy.
That's what you're into, is it? Right. Okay.
This is not good. This is not painting me in a good picture.
Wow.
Yeah. Especially because earlier you referred to me as the Rainbow Ranger. So
Look, you're digging your own hole. I'm not doing doing
Champion
anything.
of diversity. That's a good thing.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
I forgot what we were talking about. Spider-Man, right?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man: Homecoming.
But Spider-Man. I think I'm sure people will love it. But I'm personally more looking forward to Logan because I think that is. I believe it's. I've forgotten his name. Who's the guy that plays Wolverine? It's completely gone.
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman, of course.
He's a huge jacked man.
Amazing.
That's how I remember him. Huge jacked man. It's Hugh Jackman.
I think it's his last play as Wolverine, isn't
Yeah.
it?
It looks like
Old Man Logan.
Looks properly dark and moody
And it's a story that it's a type of story that we don't often see in the superhero universe, like in terms of the level of darkness and grittiness and kind of lost soulness that we seem to be getting from the trailer. Whereas Spider-Man: Homecoming, I think will be brilliant, and I'll definitely go see
but
it.
for completely
But we
different
have
reasons.
seen that story so many times, and I know it's slightly before. He's a teenager very much in high school, and he's not working as a journalist or anything yet. But it's still, we've seen that origin story played out many times on screen. Whereas this is almost the opposite of an origin story. This is Old Man Logan. This is at the end of his existence as a superhero.
We need more old man films.
Yeah.
Just people coming to the end of their lives.
That would be great, wouldn't it? Like old Avengers, like them all just in a home together, being
They're all
really grumpy.
geriatric.
Their last mission.
Yeah.
Well, not quite
Tony
that
Stark
old.
would have the best wheelchair with jetpack things.
That would be
attached to
amazing.
it.
Captain America just doesn't like what the country's become. He's like, I remember when this country was good.
What else, movie-wise, are you interested in, Rory, or is that your movie?
That's my only one.
Is it?
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to a lot, but I wanted to focus on Power Rangers. That's my most anticipated.
I agree.
The only other one for me is obviously Star Wars Episode 8 because I didn't particularly like Rogue One that much.
No,
I
me
think
neither.
we're all in the
okay.
same boat.
It's weird though, because I feel like as a team, we weren't massively enamored with Rogue One. We were like, oh, it's all right.
My entire Facebook
But
timeline
my
is,
timeline and my
obsessed.
Twitter feed
People
is
love
like,
it.
it's
What is
amazing.
happening? My whole Twitter feed are people just saying how incredible it is.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I don't know if
I
I'm
feel
missing
like I
something.
watched.
No.
I feel like I need to go back and watch it a second time because I clearly missed something.
So I agree. I feel like I should do, but I don't actually feel like it, which is a
Yeah.
really weird kind of after episode 7, I was like, oh my God, I've got to watch it again straight away.
Yeah.
And I think I did. I watched it 3 times in the first week. And I know it wasn't the greatest film ever made, but for me it felt like a homecoming for Star Wars. And
Yeah.
it had all of the kind of the highs that I wanted and the lows, and it had the crawl and the music, and it
I
felt
agree.
like a proper Star
Really
Wars film.
enjoyed it.
And I appreciate why this didn't have any of that. But I just didn't feel as invested in it. But anyway, that's
it's like 7 is like a 3-course meal, and it just leaves you totally full at the end. And I felt like Rogue One was like waiting a long time to get your main course, and then just eating it, and it's over. You're like, okay,
I know that this isn't a discussion about Rogue One in terms of
Yeah.
review, but for me it was to do with the characters and the relationships between them and the way that they kind of grew and who you meant to invest in. I did not care. I literally did not care
No.
for, considering that it was a story about a suicide mission.
Yeah.
I was not invested in any of the characters or their stories or the main character.
Yeah.
So
And even when Vader came back on screen, when I first saw Luke Skywalker at the end of Force Awakens, I was like, yeah!
when he turns around, and it's just like
absolutely.
amazing.
And then Vader, he had some good bits, but I wasn't
Yeah.
like, oh,
I
okay.
mean, that bit in the corridor where it's dark and then his
Yeah.
lightsaber comes. I mean, that was
awesome.
It's so good.
But it's not the same. And for Episode 8, I really want to know what happens with Kylo Ren next and Rey and all those characters.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see where
Yeah.
that story goes.
Yeah, totally care about them.
And so, obviously it goes without saying, but Episode 8, oh my God, I'm going to be there day one.
Yeah.
Being very excited.
That's going to be
Same.
magic.
I'm really
Is there a date for that yet, or is it still
I
kind
believe
of...
it's December, but
Okay.
I'm sure there is a
it'll be at the end of
specific
the
date.
year.
That's a really... I hope they continue up, because I like Christmas, like Star Wars Christmas movies. That's that's cool.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that, but equally, with Marvel,
You're like, I
films-
want it earlier.
Well, I think there is a danger of overdoing it, and I think for me, I'm really excited about obviously Episode 7, Episode 8, and Episode 9. And is it the Han Solo movie? I think is going to be the
Yeah,
one that's
the
in
next
between
one.
8 and 9. Apprehensive, I guess, because it's a Star Wars movie without being a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
But at least this has got the free reign to go off and be a little bit more carefree because it's there is a distance between when that is set and when all the others are
It's
set.
not like it's going to be like Han Solo right before A New Hope or something like that. It'll be its own total independent thing.
And
you might get like a young Chewbacca. That would be cool.
That would be cool.
Well, like Baby Groot.
Baby Groot Chewbacca.
Just like walking around. That'd be so cute, like a little teddy bear. I'm into that. I'm into that, definitely.
I'm well into that.
Yeah.
What about, before we go on to games, let's talk about TV shows.
You sure?
Yes.
Right, cool.
Because we've got lots of games.
We've got lots of
Yeah,
games.
that's true.
I've got
As a
fair few
gaming
TV
podcast.
shows.
You don't have any?
No, I do.
Oh, you do?
Otherwise, it would be the shortest discussion.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm going to start off with Game of Thrones.
Okay.
So new season for that will start in April, because that's pretty much when it always starts. Now, not last season, but the season before, I was, listeners to the podcast will know that I was pretty much done with that show.
Yeah, I remember.
Because it was just too much, it was too
Garbage.
graphic for the sake of it. And the end of the last season was just exceptional, with obviously the
Spoiler alert.
episode 9, I can't remember what it's called, but the big fight against
Battle of the Bastards.
Ramsay.
Oh, so good.
That was just one of the best pieces
Best
of
bits of
TV.
TV.
Yeah.
making I've ever
The
seen.
amount of GIF material that's come from that episode is testimony.
But like, I've never cared so much about, like, again, the outcome of a fight, and obviously they've built up like when like Joffrey was done over.
That was satisfying.
It was satisfying, but not to the same level as
No.
Because you wanted someone to beat his face in.
Yeah.
Poison wasn't enough. You just wanted like...
Yeah.
Crush
And also,
him.
Joffrey
So
died
annoying.
in the arms of his mother, going, "Joffrey, I love you." No, he died in love. Whereas, like,
There was nothing
you
nice
wanted,
about this.
like, you wanted, like,
Eaten by a dragon,
absolutely, eaten by a
burnt
dragon.
And it's a
alive.
similar feeling to. Are you guys up to speed on Walking Dead?
No.
No, I'm episode 5.
Right. Okay. But like, again, it's
Episode
not,
5, season 1.
Yeah,
Little behind. Yeah.
No, on the current season. I've had to really work at this season.
But obviously,
another story.
I want something bad to happen to Negan,
Yeah.
but I don't want it to be quick.
But I do like Negan. Negan is, I really enjoy watching him. I think he's been the best thing about this current season.
Like the episode, the mid-season finale is good.
Yeah, I need to get to that.
Obviously, I won't say anything. So I'm excited for that. But like Game of Thrones, like that is a show that always delivers.
Except season 5.
I forget which one
The
Yeah.
bad one.
is it.
I think we were both on this podcast saying how we would never go back to it. 'cause
Oh,
it
Yeah,
was
but like I can't.
so
like,
dull.
some episodes in this Walking Dead are absolutely abysmal. Oh my god, was it episode 3 or 4?
I've
Oh
heard-
my god, yes.
I've heard a couple people just like stop watching. They're like, it's too gross.
Yeah.
It's too weird.
It's more.
and,
It's
like-
just so sad. Like so.
It
I
is
know.
relent-
Why do you want
just
that in your life?
Just
Because
relentlessly.
you
Let's
get
go
a
watch
glimpse
Power
of
Rangers,
optimism.
guys. Come on.
You get a glimpse of optimism that lasts an episode, and then it all goes to shit again. And it's like, oh, God.
That's kind of what like that pattern is for the show. When I was watching it, was like find somewhere safe, everyone's happy for a little bit, and then it all goes
But
to
that
trash.
I didn't mind. That I didn't mind because I feel like that would be the pattern of living in the apocalypse. I feel like it'd be a
Realistic.
constant struggle for survival, and it would be a seesaw between okay, we found safety, and oh crap, let's get moving. Our butts are about to be eaten. But like with this this season, it's not. It's been a process of like the attrition has happened. Now they're at rock bottom, and it's what it's like to live under the boot of someone else. And so there isn't any hope or give, and that's just a really emotionally draining story.
Yeah. Oh.
So yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if I can watch that.
He's a nasty piece of work.
Yeah.
Do you think in a zombie apocalypse, this studio would be a good place to camp out? Because he has like a key code on the door, so
Yeah.
people won't be able to get in. Like if you can get food from like Tesco downstairs, I think it could work for a while.
I mean, I've also got an image though because we've got
Just
that
thinking,
massive.
there's a lot of games. We got a lot of games to
But
play.
we've also got that
like,
massive.
You could live in VR in Oculus for a while, like run through the meadows and things.
But like, so you're saying live in this room, but also go outside, because that kind of defeats the object, right?
Go outside and grab supplies and then run back. and
where
then-
are you going to go to the toilet?
In
the
we'll have
voiceover
to make
booth.
yeah, in the VO booth. I won't have the mic on or anything. You won't be able to hear anything.
I don't like the fact that we've got a massive glass wall though. I feel like that's saying if we ever end up having a wave of zombies come in, I do not want to look at that VR booth or like the sound booth.
Yeah.
And see like zombies going.
We'll put up a curtain, just pretend like out of sight, out of mind. Just put up a little bar, stick on the Oculus, and just pretend you're in a field somewhere.
And other TV show is like obviously there'll be a new season of Westworld. I don't feel like I particularly need
I
another.
don't. Is
Would that be
it? No,
2017?
I think it's coming in 2018.
Oh, is
the
it?
season of Westworld.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's.
Because I haven't heard anything about like moving into production or development
I'm
yet.
pretty sure I
think
read
it's still-
2018.
But also, I don't feel like I actually need another Westworld.
I heard a
'cause
lot of people say that.
kind
They're kind of like, I don't know where they're going to pick it up.
I'm
from
just
here.
happy with that. Unless
Yeah.
they're going to do something. Obviously, they showed off a little bit the Samurai world
Well,
and things like that.
apparently,
Yeah.
apparently,
Really different.
season 2 is going to focus more on how they were created, so the actual process of creating a host. Because we really actually know very little about that. We've seen
Ooh,
the
be careful.
machines moving.
Okay.
Well,
I still haven't finished
without,
it. I'm
without
like 2
spoilers,
episodes
like
off. Okay.
we've seen like even like that opening, the credits and stuff. You see the thing being dipped in, and the logo and like the circle of the kind of Da Vinci Man.
Yeah.
I mean, we've not actually seen any of that, so we're going to see that in season 2, and the tone is going to be different. Whereas this one's been more about control. Next season is going to be more about
A rom-com.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man and a robot. Will they get together?
Nothing happens. But the other thing I'm looking forward to is Narcos season 3.
Yeah.
Have you finished season 2?
I haven't finished season 2 yet. I
Goodness
find
sakes.
it.
Have you
it's
finished it?
I've never watched an episode.
God
a great
damn,
show.
It's a great show.
But I find it hard because I usually like to do things while I'm watching shows, and because it's subtitled, you pretty much have to give
Well,
it.
why
like,
don't you watch it? That's the whole point of it.
I'm part of a generation. I'm a multi-screen generation. I need to be doing like 3 things at one time.
You don't deserve to watch it then.
I really don't.
No.
I really don't. I'm like playing like
In
Mario
fact,
Run. I'm
I
like
for-
checking my
I
emails. like
forbid
watching
you
the
to
show.
finish watching it.
Oh my gosh, I'm totally seeing like Alex Simmons' dad coming out.
But like, but
you
what is
don't
the point?
deserve to watch it. You are forbidden.
But the fact is, like, it's got subtitles, so I can't, do something at the same time.
That's not how I said it.
But that's essentially what you're saying.
Yeah, basically. But
It's really, really good. But something happens at the end of season 2, which means season 3 is going to have to be dramatically different, and I don't know what they're going to do or how they're going to go about it.
Right.
Because it's been renewed for season 3 and 4, and it comes to a very natural close at the end of season 2.
So you think they're gonna force it? Or are you still looking forward to where they're gonna go?
Well, I really like the characters that are in it.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what they do, and I think the writing's great, and again, I don't know how much kind of artistic license they've taken with the story, because I don't actually know how much truth is in there or not. But it's just brilliantly kind of, the tempo of it's fantastic, and some of the stuff that happens is just like, this happened in real life.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's one of those shows that when I was watching it, you kind of like watch an episode and then Wikipedia, or Google exactly what it happens
So
afterwards.
I avoided doing that completely because I didn't know.
how it was
You'll see the end.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah,
so I didn't
yeah.
do that until afterwards.
Yeah. That I need to get back into that show. It's on Netflix, isn't it? Narcos?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I should finish season 2.
So I'm interested to see where they go with that and whether they can sustain that momentum. Should we
Awesome.
move on to games?
Let's move on to games.
do
Go
it.
on, then.
I got tons of games.
Well, top of my list is a little game called Horizon Zero Dawn, which I am so excited for. And I was really worried about it as well, simultaneously, because I was kind of like, I'm so invested in the idea of it. I've really loved all the preview kind of trailers and stuff, but we hadn't actually played it. Are we allowed to talk about playing it?
Yeah.
Great.
Well,
cool.
because it was playable at Eurogamer.
Yep, great, cool. So then we actually finally got
To play
a
at
unit.
Eurogamer.
Yep, we got a unit in, and we all played one of the missions, and it was just everything that I hoped for. And I don't feel like it was overhyped. Like being able to just leap on the back of a mechanical bull thing and just race it around this.
Is that something
gorgeous-
you've always wanted to
something
do?
I
Because you can
just-
do
'Cause you
that.
only
I
have
love
mechanical bulls in the real world.
Yeah.
I mean,
You've been to E3. Have you been to the
oh my
Saddle
gosh, I've
Ranch?
totally been to the Saddle Ranch.
All right, there you go.
Love the Saddle Ranch. That's a bar in LA.
every
E3,
year,
so all the games journalists go to.
Like jet-lagged English people jump on the back of a mechanical bull.
And now you can do it and just pretend to be Aloy, and it'll have a whole extra layer of fun.
There you
Won't
go.
that be great?
Right,
You're
so-
super excited to go to E3 with me next year.
I am.
I'll be
I've
there.
never been on the bull. I'm never going on the bull.
Rory, this is our mission for 2017.
Get Alex on the bull.
Get Alex on the bull.
It's not gonna
Hashtag.
happen.
If you won't do a Bane impression, I don't think
It's
he's
gonna be
gonna.
hard.
I don't think he's
We'll
gonna
see
ride
how many
the
shots
bull.
of tequila it'll take.
Well, I won't drink the tequila.
Don't let them know the plan
Oh, yeah, sorry.
beforehand.
Why don't you
So
just drink
subtle.
this bottle of water, Alex? that tastes funny.
funny.
Would you like some salt and lime with that water?
Basically going to put Rohypnol in my drink or something.
It's got dark. But Horizon Zero Dawn, like I think it brings this kind of idea of open world gameplay that we've seen like loads, but it adds this new element in bringing two different time frames. I'm really interested in this world that's taken place years after the apocalypse, this idea of machines running around. Who made the machines? I have so many questions about where they've come from, like whether they're, and then we've got this idea of corrupted machines that are going around. That seems to be like part of the story, but also like who Aloy is. Her story seems to be very muddled, where she exists within her tribe, who runs this tribe, what is the system? Like, I'm just really...
It's a lot of questions.
That is a lot of
I have
questions.
a lot of questions.
I'm getting stressed. Should we just play Rocket League?
Exactly.
Who made these cars? Where did the ball come from? What happens
score
when
a goal.
What's their training schedule? Like, do they see their families often? What about the tiny
Oh, no.
little toy car?
You dedicate your life to Rocket League when you become a driver.
Like, wow.
It's going to be great. And it launches on 1st of March 2017, which is actually a few days earlier than we thought it was going to come.
I have, being honest, not a lot of interest in this game. Partly because I think I've been around it for so long and I've heard so much and seen so much for a very long time that it's kind of like dulled off.
Yeah, that's fair.
So my interest is going to come from people like you and our readers and people on the internet that will rave about it. And I'm genuinely looking forward to being surprised and getting interested in it. Yeah. But at the minute, just looks like a game. Like
So what are you excited about?
I'll tell you what I'm excited about, Alex. I am excited about The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Is that the
Never
brand?
saw that coming.
Cue the Zelda music. I know, who could have guessed? That's my most anticipated game for a very long time.
Right.
Anytime I see new gameplay footage or just anything, any new details, I just immediately, I'll watch it over 3 times to try and find out little secrets and Easter eggs.
Have you played it yet?
Yeah, I got to play it for an hour.
Right.
And it was the
so
best
you played
thing.
the same thing that I played at E3 probably.
Yes. Yeah. So it was that
Like
the first
a timed demo.
Yeah, that time demo,
Yeah.
which they allowed me to take the timer off for. So I
Oh,
could roam
really?
about. I didn't get to go around any extra areas, but I was just allowed to
Yeah,
play
you
for
weren't
a straight
restricted. Yeah.
hour without having to reset the clock
Yeah,
or
yeah.
anything like that.
That was annoying because it didn't tell you how much time you had left.
It would just
faded
it would
to
just
black.
fade
It's
out.
like,
Yeah.
"Oh!"
Oh my gosh. So yeah, I played about an hour of it, and it is just everything I want a Zelda game to be.
Really?
And now there's Nintendo made a huge announcement that you can see parts of it that are linked to, I think it's the original Zelda game, where it's structures and places in that are now been reimagined, but they're all destroyed and wrecked and rubble.
Oh,
So there might
that's
be ties to the
really
first
cool.
Zelda
That's
game.
really cool.
Because obviously you got Hyrule, but it's kind of in ruin, and there's this technology roaming around.
Hyrule. Am I right? Am I
Nice.
right?
Nice. And also it's going to be on the Nintendo Switch, which is one of the consoles that I'm looking forward to next year, especially with the leaked patent that it might be able to be used as a VR headset, which is insanely cool. That's awesome.
It doesn't need it.
But it's like an extra add-on. Because I'm going to get a Switch.
Yeah.
So if they're and also you can pay £50 and get a headset, and now you have a VR headset.
Isn't it only 720p?
No, it's 1080, I believe.
I think it's 720p for VR. I'm sure I saw that.
Really?
I thought it halved its resolution because obviously.
With the motion tracking and
eyeball.
Uh,
I don't know. I might be wrong, but I thought I read
yeah.
that.
But
somewhere.
also that is just patent. It's not
and quite
confirmed or
frankly,
anything.
I'm
They might
not
not even
dirtying
make
my
it.
eyes with 720p.
Dirty in your eyes. What's the PSVR? Is it not 720?
No, it's higher than that.
It's higher than that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. And anyway, I'm joking. I just don't feel like Switch needs VR. Because
Yeah.
its whole selling point is that you play at home, you pick it up, you play it wherever you... That, to me, I'm sold. I don't need VR layered on top of that and everything else. But if you're happy, I'm happy.
I'm
It's
happy.
it's trying to do the whole hybrid home console on the go, and I can see why they're at least experimenting with the idea of VR, because we've seen portable VR in the sense of the Samsung Galaxy Gear, and also home console VR in terms of PSVR and all of that. And so as a hybrid, they clearly just want to put their ball in both parks.
In
and-
every court.
In every court.
Literally,
I was
every
just going to
single
say,
court
put
at
the
Wimbledon.
put their ball in both parks. I was like, is that a phrase?
I think I'm thinking like knocking something out the ballpark and then also mixing in the court. I'm just, I'm trying to put my ball in many parks for punning.
Right, because balls in parks is a bit
like to put your ball in as
yeah, it's a bit like public streaker kind of.
As your Rainbow
I get some
Ranger
trench
self.
coat vibes.
you like to dunk your ball in as many. But anyway.
As the Rainbow Ranger.
Rory Powell's the Rainbow Ranger. I'm very happy with that.
I'm cutting all of this from the podcast.
No, please don't, because I really want people to write in and draw
Centaur.
Rory Powell's the Rainbow Ranger.
Or just red. Red's good if you just want to stick with red. That's cool.
Rainbow Ranger.
No, Rainbow Ranger.
Yeah.
So yeah, Breath of the Wild, Nintendo Switch. That's the game and console.
So you won't play that on Wii U. You'll play it on Switch.
I want to play it on the system it's going to perform best on, which I feel like is going to be the Switch.
PS4.
Yeah. So wait for PS4. Yeah. That's my number one.
So you're going to be buying a Switch day one.
Day one, and then Breath of the Wild, which apparently isn't going to be ready for the Switch launch anymore. It's going to be even further down the line. So
is that right?
Yeah, it got delayed again, which kind of sucks because I don't want to get a Switch. And I'm like, well, I could play.
What are you going to play? Yeah.
All these like emulated Nintendo 64 games, which actually sounds pretty cool. But you don't want that.
That's not why you buy a brand new console.
Exactly. You want like launch titles.
Yeah.
So hopefully they'll have some like hiding in the wings. They've already got a bunch of like third-party support and stuff with like Skyrim and things, which I know is a bit outdated. But I knew he was going to give me that look. I know he's going to give me that look.
That makes no sense.
Skyrim on the go, though. On the go. Like,
but
there's rumors they might have FromSoft giving them Dark Souls as an IP as well, which would be really cool because then like Dark Souls on the go, that would be incredible.
You want a brand new Mario or a brand new Zelda for a new Nintendo launch.
Yes.
That's what you want.
Which, judging from the trailer, it looks like they're going to have at least a brand new Mario because you saw gameplay footage.
But a proper Mario, not a little...
I think that one was 3D. It's not like Mario Bros.
Yeah.
Super World 5 or something like that.
Yeah.
I've been playing a lot of Mario Run, by the way. It's awesome.
I have an Android phone, so I've not been able to play it. Can I please try yours at lunch?
Yes.
Because I actually genuinely want to try it
Yes,
out.
you can. It's super fun. But yes, that's the game I'm looking forward to. Well, one of the games.
Well, the only game that really matters next year is God of War. That game is going to punch your faces in and pull out your windpipes and then just suck your blood and yes.
I don't want to play this game. It sounds
I do. That sounds
detrimental
great.
to my health.
In a good way.
Yeah.
Like, have you played God of War?
I have, yes.
Which
I know.
ones?
I
All
saw
of them?
the most recent one.
Ascension.
Yes.
I've
never been massively into that. Well, that's the thing. That's my I was like,
It's not great.
It was okay.
I've never played it.
But I did really, really like what we saw of the new one at E3.
It looks amazing. That's why.
It looked really, really good and very, very pretty.
Yeah.
I saw a great video of, in that trailer where it's basically he's wrestling the monster and he's telling the kid to take the shot. Someone cut it together so that when the kid is pulling back the arrow and lets it go, they added in Rugo Wagateki wo Kuru! And the arrow goes flying and hits the guy.
To talk about Overwatch.
Sorry, no Overwatch talk. The trailer looked amazing. I remember that first bit where they're kind of walking through the forest together, and you're just like, this is magic. This is actual magic. It looks incredible.
When they showed that at E3, the whole of the stage was kind of lit in the sort of same colours.
Oh my
and
gosh.
they cut it almost like a sort of theatre production with the trees there and snow and stuff like that.
Wow.
Literally it was magical.
That's so cool.
But then it was backed up by, the game looks really, really solid.
Looks awesome.
Gorgeous.
And I guess similar to kind of maybe it's the thing, why I'm looking forward to Logan is old man, son, and or sibling, child. Sorry.
When are you going to take your son out hunting trolls in the forest?
He's probably, 20 months, he's a bit young at the minute.
Bit
but
young.
as soon as he can hold a sniper rifle, we'll be out there, shooting deer and stuff.
You're going to do the Spartan thing where you send him out into the woods and he has to come back with a wolf pelt. And then you're like, okay, now you can be my son.
I'll probably just send him up to the Tesco garage to go and get me
a
pint of milk.
Southern chicken
double-decker.
pasta pie.
If you can get me a double decker and give me change out this quid, then you're all right.
This is him at it'd be like Frogger for him. You'll have to try and navigate across the road.
Across the road.
Do you think they'll make a game on that?
On
about me sending my child off
P to get a double decker.
Yeah.
I mean, I would totally play that game.
That would be
sounds
amazing.
adorable.
And then when he gets back, and he's bought me like a fun size one rather than like the duo where you get two in it. It's like, God damn, go back.
I would just love it if at the start it's like a shot of your kid and it pans to the shadows, and then Alex Simmons just emerges, and everyone in the crowd is like, yeah, it's him, it's Alex. Like the God of War.
The God of Boar, maybe.
Oh.
I don't need your sympathy.
Fuck you guys.
But that game looks amazing.
It does look
we
good.
haven't really seen anything since they showed it at E3. I don't even think they've said that it's coming out next year.
Oh.
But I'm pretty sure it'll be Sony's big game for Christmas next
Either
year.
way, we'll get new information on it this year.
Definitely.
And, presumably it'll be running in 4K and all of that gorgeous beautifulness.
I set up my PS Pro at the weekend.
You have a PS Pro?
I got a PS Pro.
Yeah, she bought a PS Pro and a 4K TV.
What?
I know, right?
I flogged a liver on eBay, and I regret nothing.
Oh my God. I was hoping to get a PS4 in the new year, but I might I'm budget power, so I'm going to get like the cheapest one I can get refurbished that was like recovered from a crime scene or something.
They're not that expensive.
They're still like 100 or 200 pounds?
Well, they're 199. But again,
that's a lot of money to me.
But when you get a flash sale, like how much were they? Was it 150?
150, and I missed it. I missed it at every store. So I just got to keep my eyes out. Let me know. Tweet at me if you see any cheap PlayStations. I'm going to start getting a lot of tweets.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing to have tweeted at you.
Yeah.
PS4
Yeah.
Pros.
Good. Keep it up. Definitely.
Yeah.
But that's the sort of first game that I thought, actually, I'll play that in 4K, even though I don't have a Pro at home and I don't have a 4K TV.
I mean, I don't have my 4K TV yet. It's
Oh.
Actually, this is going out on the 30th, isn't it? My 4K TV might be arriving today in the future. I think Amazon said it's being delivered between the 30th and the 5th. So that's
Well,
exciting.
that's a long time to wait.
I know.
Do you have to be home?
I mean, it's going to be a slight issue because I think I'm not home at New Year, but it'll be fine.
I can't go through the letterbox. That's going to be a big problem.
It'll be fine. It'll be so fine.
See, my problem with 4K is that, and again, this is going slightly off topic, I still...
Doesn't make a difference.
Well, but there's not enough consistency in terms of, like, what I want, what I really want.
Tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
Is an OLED TV, and they're super expensive and massive.
Yes,
And
they are. They're like $2,000.
So when they become standardized and affordable, then I'll go for that. But then there'll be something else.
There's always something else.
Always
We'll
something
never be happy.
I know.
Just gotta
But
learn
like,
that.
I've been gaming on my PlayStation 4 with like a Celsius, that cheap brand of TVs that no
Why
one's
would
ever
you do that
heard
to
of.
yourself?
Celsius?
That's
Well,
like,
I
it's
was
called
gonna say,
Celsius,
I've never heard of it.
and it's like really, really small, and it, it's worked for ages. But I'm actually like, I've always been a massive console gamer. I bloody love PlayStation, and I was just kind of like, you know what, completely treat myself. Actually,
Fair enough.
set up a proper, gaming platform, and why not? I was caught up in Black Friday madness, and je ne regrette rien.
I think that's
The
fair enough.
TV I have is that giant one that we were going to bin when we moved office. And I was like, I'll take it.
Did you
that's
really
cool.
take it?
Yeah, so I've
my
got
God.
it in my room.
That is massive.
It is so
it's
big.
a 55-inch Sony that we got when, IGN like almost first started in the UK. So it would have been like 2007 maybe.
Yeah.
It's so big.
It's like-
a 55-inch TV these days is quite light and thin
Yeah.
bezel. This has got
It's like a
massive
thick
glass
back.
frame around it. 2 people to carry. It's huge.
And I
How
had-
did you get that home?
Oh my God, it was a whole day of just trying to get this home. I had
By
to
yourself?
No, I had some friends,
Okay.
but even still, it was an absolute nightmare. And even now, like, it's way too big for my room. It's
Yeah,
so
of course it is.
stupid looking. It takes up like a whole corner, and you can't even like see all of it.
Have you mounted it on the wall? Or?
No, it's just on a desk, like leaning against like a wall. Like I can't even lift it myself. Like it's insanely
I
big.
didn't realise you'd taken
It's
that.
stupidly big.
Right.
But again, I was using a tiny TV before,
Yeah.
and it was going to get binned.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can't
Yeah.
let a TV
Yeah.
get binned.
No,
Like,
that's
I'll
fair. You were
work it.
thinking of the environment.
I was, yeah. Very selfless. I'm a very
Absolutely.
Because at the
selfless
time,
man.
that was the cutting-edge TV.
Yeah.
But now it's just, it cuts through anything. It's just not edges.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
So heavy.
But
Yeah.
I mean, like, part of the reason why I bought this PS4 Pro and stuff is I know that we've been trying VR in the office, and we completely ran like VR Worlds and Batman Arkham VR and all of that we've been doing, and it's ran fine. But loads of the games that I'm looking forward to next year, there's loads of virtual reality games that I'm really excited to try. And I think I'd like to see what they run like on a PlayStation Pro and whether the technology really does make a difference. Like, have you guys seen like Paranormal Activity is one of the games that's coming out next year. And I know that I'm really bad with horror games in VR.
How are you looking forward to
I'm
this?
looking forward to watching other people play it.
Okay.
So like that's the thing that I really love about virtual reality gaming. Like I'm going to take the PS4 Pro home for Christmas. The PSVR home for Christmas.
Yeah.
And the reason is because I'm so excited to introduce my parents to like virtual reality and just that pure joy you get from setting up a headset and putting someone in for the first time.
Yeah.
I'll get a similar amount of sadistic joy from watching someone play Paranormal Activity VR while I sit at the side and watch. And there's loads of like Bridge Crews coming out and Farpoint. Have you guys seen anything on Farpoint?
Well, only the stuff that they showed at
E3.
E3, yeah.
Like, I'm really intrigued about it as a virtual reality game. For anyone who's not heard of it, it's a first-person shooter set on an alien planet, and the main theme of it is survive and explore. But they've created this peripheral. It's PSVR only, and they've worked with PlayStation to create this. I think it's called the PSVR aim control or something,
right.
And it's a special peripheral that's shaped as a gun. And it allows one-to-one tracking. So as you aim in real life, you aim in the game. So it's literally having this gun that you can kind of having this real sense of reality in virtual reality as you move around. I think that'll be really interesting because first-person shooters, when you play them normally on a controller, you're moving the joystick and stuff, and actually to have that real feeling of aiming at an alien.
What was the on PlayStation Worlds or
the
PSVR
heist?
Worlds, the heist thing?
Yeah.
That had, like, you could duck down and shoot people with the move controls.
Absolutely.
It wasn't particularly accurate.
Absolutely.
But it felt like you could line up the sights and fire.
And how amazing did that feel? Like that scene, we've talked about it before on the podcast, but when you're going on the M25 and like
Blasting
running out and like
people with Uzis.
blasting.
So
but
good.
like you'll be doing that with Farpoint as an example of the technology, but with like an actual gun-shaped peripheral with a trigger, like there'll be something. I'm really intrigued just to see how that will play out. And I know it is a gimmick, but I'm still excited for it.
How's the movement controlled in that? Is it like, have you got free movement like you would in an FPS, or is it on rails?
From what I've seen in the trailer, you are moving. It's not like cinematic. I don't actually know how that movement is controlled, because that's the
big thing of like makes everybody sick because you got
absolutely.
Apparently, it's fine with Resi 7. Because you can change it between like leap movements or just walking using the controller.
Right. And
like Gav and Dan and everyone that played in VR and everyone I've heard is like, yeah, it's fine. Like you don't get motion sick.
Right.
You just get sick from the content. So I don't know. Maybe that's just something that we'll get used to, or games will have it stabilized and look good enough that it doesn't make people feel sick.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
That is my one worry though for games like Farpoint is a really good example, in that we're getting this realistic idea of aim and shoot and kind of duck. When you duck physically, you can duck and physically like hide behind an object in VR, and that's really cool. But it all kind of means nothing if the basics of movement, like you are always going to be limited to like a certain field. You can't actually physically walk around. And have any of you guys seen those
omnidirectional
crazy
treadmill? Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
all the syllables in the name, catchiest title ever. But like those crazy things, and just like the ways people are trying to invent so that you can feel like you're running around. And
I don't understand why you would do that.
Dude, I'm so up for that. I'm absolutely
Of course
up for
you
that.
are.
That'd be
Of course you
amazing. Imagine like Skyrim, but you're on an omnidirectional treadmill in VR.
Yeah,
like,
your next objective is 8.4 miles away.
burn some calories. That's great. Go on an adventure. Oh, it'd be amazing. I'm so excited.
And
That's gonna
then
be so
also,
cool.
if it's up a mountain, I want it to sort of go like that.
The ramp, yes. You're like, the amount of people that would have heart attacks in their
increase
VR
the friction
headsets.
to
Yeah,
make it harder.
that would be really cool.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
But then that's just reality.
yeah.
So why would you want that? I do think like VR, like if you had like proper gloves that could sense your fingers and
like Minority Report.
but like it's been a long time since I've seen it. But like I was playing X-Wing with my niece and nephew, and like he wanted to press the buttons with his hands, but obviously it doesn't work like that. you have to kind of look to the controller and then press. But imagine if you could pull up the targeting, could be a that would be cool.
That really annoys me actually. With we've talked about it on our VR special, but the main thing I find with VR at the moment is the idea of there's no like. It's a really complex thing to do, but if you want to put something down on a table or like your hand will like go through the table. There's like, there's that the barriers aren't there in VR and like just that idea of, and it can be really hard. Like we've got the Oculus in the office, and last week I was doing a demo, and like I'd try and push things and it wasn't accurate enough, so you'd have to like try 3 times, like hit a button and just. Once that kind of technology has been improved and refined and we get to the point where, like you say, the idea of gloves would be amazing. Like to actually physically have your hands and see your fingers move.
Yeah, I think that would be the kind of the next step. So I think the technology is interesting. I don't think it's quite there yet. Yeah,
absolutely. But there's something absolutely delicious about watching it grow and like experimenting with it, and I think that'll be really fascinating in 2017. Like we can be a part of this movement as VR grows and like see it kind of go into toddler phase. That's really exciting.
If there's enough games coming out for it, I think that's the biggest thing.
Like, or will it die out?
I've had a weekend of playing PSVR, which is great, but I don't really feel the need to kind of go and buy one, or that's it. I've had my fill.
So I mean, with like Arkham VR, that would be like an example for me of a game that totally would keep me coming back for more, because I've played it through once, I've completed it, but I want to go back because it's got all those levels of secrets and stuff in it, and you want to like see every nook and cranny of the world. And actually when you go online and you look at the videos of the amount of Easter eggs that are in it, and like there's so many hidden surprises. I think at the moment we're approaching VR game development from a very pure technological perspective of like, what can you do? Oh, we'll create this peripheral that'll go in like first-person shooters, or we'll do this, and there'll be this experience. You can do open world, and how are we going to do movement? Do we do teleporting or doing this? Whereas actually, Arkham VR was one of the first gameplay experiences where I really felt like they thought, we want to create a game that works in VR. So it's a Batman game, but we're going to focus on the detective side rather than the beat 'em up side. And we're going to make it a proper game. So we're going to include hidden things, secrets, collectibles, this idea of exploring every nook and cranny of it. And I think as soon as developers start approaching game development in VR as game development, that's going to be really interesting. And we'll see more of that next year.
But again, it's that sort of... The problem they've got is that for it to succeed, they need a large install base to make sure that people definitely go and buy it. Like, will we see another Arkham thing, or is that they've done their bit for it now?
Do you mean install base as in people who have
people will go and buy?
I don't think it's going to be games that is going to pull people into VR technology. I think people will discover VR gaming through other places. So like for instance, next year we're going to see Sky Sports VR is going to be introduced. So Sky is coming up with an app where they've already experimented, I think, with Formula One and Tour de France and boxing matches, and they've just filmed a VR promo with David Beckham. And this idea of you can experience in your living room like the games that you're watching on screen and matches and stuff from your couch. Yeah. And I think non-gamers are going to like think of that and go, oh, that sounds really interesting. I might get like a cheaper headset or whatever, or they might fork out. Like, being realistic, VR the porn industry is going to massively get people interested in the idea of owning a headset. And so all these people coming in, whether it's sports or whatever, like I think
you'd have to really like pornography to then go and splash out.
No, but like
on a headset, like
taking it super seriously. But like, splash out. Just got that. But like, think about it. If you look back at some of the biggest technological leaps we've had in the last couple of decades, like the internet, one of the biggest uptakes of the internet, like the reason it comes back to like the proliferation of porn through episodes.
But for that, then you've also got 3D. Like loads of people invested in 3D. Sky invested in 3D. Didn't really take off. And that's just kind of folded.
But I think that also
I worry that, yes, I think there are enough uses for it. But bringing it back to games, if you are Rocksteady, you will need to have a guaranteed return on something to create. And by investing in VR, you're looking at a subset of a subset of a subset, basically, especially if you're focusing on a single VR platform rather than across everything.
Fair point.
And I don't know if there's enough return there at the minute, or whether it actually gets to that point for people to have the freedom to, come up with creatively interesting things.
I completely agree with you. I think that it's a subset of a subset of a subset at the moment, and there isn't that base right now. But I think that it is going to shift in 2017, because I think with what's really unique
phones,
about, but what's unique about VR, which it doesn't have with 3D. 3D technology was ridiculously expensive. Like, if you wanted a 3D TV, you were talking like thousands of pounds, and it really wasn't.
At the beginning, yes.
At the beginning, yes.
But that's what you need for Oculus or Vive.
Well, but no, because you've got Samsung Gear VR, you've got Google Cardboard. Yes, there are like lower range.
But we're talking completely about different things here. Like, I'm talking about like Batman, which you'll only get on a gaming console. I completely agree. I think VR through phones and tablets and stuff will be commonplace because people already have those.
Yeah.
I don't think people will invest in actual hardware to the tune of 300 to 600 quid.
Yeah.
But I think that there will be games on Google Cardboard, on Samsung Galaxy Gear VR, that will get people interested in the idea of VR gaming, and that'll keep the interest there for as the cost of VR comes down, because it will come down. By the end of Moore's law means that it just absolutely will in the next couple of years. So by the time that's come down, people might start going, oh, actually, it's only like 150. 200 quid for a PSVR, well, or less than that. Like, it'll be cheaper, and they might kind of.
But again, to get to that point, there needs to be the hardware needs to sustain the development process for it, and so over the next year, I don't know if there's enough coming out on the VR platforms for it to get to a year's time, or 2 years' time, or 3 years' time, where the technology is so commonplace that they can bring it out. I don't know. We'll
see. We'll definitely see. It's a really rickety bridge. It could absolutely collapse.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
My gut
I've got a good feeling about it.
I don't think it's going to be around in the next 3 years.
That's really interesting.
I think it will be used in other ways. I've said it before. Like, I think it would really enhance like Disney rides, like Star Tours, for example.
Yeah.
The X-Wing is already better than Star Tours. So imagine combining virtual reality with a hydraulic platform where you're actually moving, or it's a proper 4D experience. That would be amazing. So I can see VR being used in some shape or form in like theme parks. I'm not sure it's going to be around in front rooms.
That's interesting. I completely am with you on the challenges, but my gut is that the games industry will find a way.
It's all about money.
It's all
about money.
If the Switch do their VR headset, I think that could be a bit of a game changer in a similar way that the Wii was a game changer. Because if you think about it, if people have the Switch and Nintendo go, oh, if you buy this headset, you can, play all these like VR games. And because it's Nintendo, that's a company that's investing in its own like VR experiences. And that's a much more accessible bridge than people being like, oh, you have a PlayStation. If you spend £200, we might have some games coming out later on. Nintendo would be like...
But they'll still need to develop those VR games or experience for Switch. It's not... And that's the thing. It's like, it's additional work, and quite a lot of work. And what's that going to be paid for? Is it... Nintendo will probably sling down a bunch of money at the beginning. Same with PlayStation. I'm sure that they've subsidized development for PS4 games. But at some point, that money is going to run out. And so it will have to rely on people buying enough VR games. And there aren't that many out there that I buy day one. And also, the ones that are out there are just ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll see. Any other games for 2017?
Yes, I've got one more.
Go on then. One more each, and then we'll quickly go to really feedback.
Even though you said that God of War was the only one that matters, there is another one that matters.
Yeah.
And that is Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, of
released
course.
2017. Man, I'm so excited for this game. It's
going to be a good game.
It's going to be a great game. Yeah. I was really disappointed from the reveal trailers. I know that's the kind of Rockstar style like they did with GTA when they did the environment video for GTA 5. But I was kind of hoping for a bit more narrative stuff because obviously...
It's too early. It's a year out.
But it's still, even just seeing John Marston or his gang or some of the towns again, that would be enough. All I would need is one voice line from John Marston. I'd be set.
I bet you'll get that. Next trailer.
But yeah, I can't wait. People are speculating. They think it might be a prequel where it's like John Marston and his gang that he usually used to go around with before he, turned straight. And I'm so excited to see, like, to just get back in that world as well, because I'd never really played a cowboy game before the first Red Dead Redemption. And it just changed the way I looked at games and open worlds and like NPCs.
Yeah, because again, I've never really played it.
Yeah.
The first one, played it a little bit. So I'm hugely excited because I think, obviously now is a really good time for a cowboy game to come out.
Yeah.
With the popularity of Westworld and everything. But I think I've just got faith in Rockstar's development because I think they're quite unlike anybody else in that they've got the freedom to go and make a great game and finish it when it's ready. And still sell bucket loads enough to fund the next. I guess when you've got Grand Theft Auto up your sleeve, you're in a kind of fortunate position.
Yeah. Especially because I think they've left it for a really good time. Yeah. Like the longer they've left it, it just feels like the passion behind this game is brewing and brewing. And then,
so it'll be 7 years between games. That's a long time.
Man, that doesn't feel like 7 years.
Awful long time.
But like very different from Last Guardian, for example.
It's not been in development for 7 years though.
Well, that's when the last game came out. I don't know when. But it's a separate studio from Rockstar North. So you would assume that they would have started thinking about it even before Red Dead Redemption came out. But
probably
the difference, I guess, is that feels like that was always part of the plan, rather than like it's going to come out in 2015, 16, 17. Always felt like that was the plan. So
I know they haven't been pushing it back or anything like that.
And that does worry me about Death Stranding, because we've seen so much of. Well, conceptually about that game already.
I know.
I have no idea when that game is going to come out.
I know.
I'm really concerned. Like what you were saying about Horizon Zero Dawn, how you're not excited for it because you feel like you've seen so much of it. I feel like we could get Death Stranding fatigue by the time it comes out.
I don't get Death Stranding. If that was anyone else and not Kojima, would anyone give a crap?
No, but
like
it looks
so weird. It looks like
I'm not massively like I've never been super into the Metal Gear Solid games. Like I'm not a super Kojima fan, but I'm really excited for Death Stranding from what I've seen conceptually so far. Like I think I'm very interested by it, but I'm also a little bit apprehensive that we're seeing so much when like he spent this 2016 looking for an engine. Like he's not even began production on it.
They made their office rooms in the engine as well though. Did you see that? He tweeted about it.
Really?
Like the office room at Kojima Productions.
Did, yeah.
They had that. They've remade it in the engine and then they put the tank inside the office and stuff like that.
That's kind of cool.
You've got to love Kojima for that kind of stuff.
He would be really fun.
I gotta see some gameplay.
Well, you ain't gonna see that.
You're not gonna see that. For
I know.
ages,
I know. Just more weird ass trailers. But yeah. Anyway, Red Dead 2. It's going to be fantastic.
The only other one I was going to mention is Crackdown 3, because I loved the original Crackdown, and I think that to me will be a game that benefits from the power of Scorpio, because obviously it's 4K, all that kind of malarkey, but the whole city that you're able to blow up and properly have an environment that you can change on the fly, that sounds incredible.
I love
lots of games kind of promise that. Crackdown, and Joe played quite an extended demo of it, I think at Gamescom or somewhere, and he said it was amazing. But I think with the additional development time they've had with Scorpio, I think that's going to be amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
Did you play the first one?
I played it at a friend's house. I never actually owned it myself, but it was fun. I don't think has it dated well?
Probably not, but like what it did, like, because I couldn't tell you what happened in the missions.
Yeah, no, me neither.
Not interested about that. But you had all the collectibles, so you basically explored the city looking for like jump power-ups and fighting power-ups. But the jump power-ups were amazing because it got to a point where I could just jump from building to building, like Incredible Hulk style, and that was a faster way of getting around the city than getting in a car and driving.
Yeah,
and that was cool. And so I'm interested to see how much of that they do as well.
Cool.
Because it was all like, I don't know whether it was like neuro enhancements or
whatever.
Like
mech,
but it was cool.
Like that. Yeah, it sounds awesome. Looking forward to
that. My last one is Outlast 2. Just because I really, really enjoyed playing the first one. The demo that
horror game?
we played,
But you hate horror games.
You have a lot of horror recommendations for games that you're probably never going to play.
Masochistic. No, I will definitely play Outlast 2. When I say that I hate horror games, I hate and will not play VR horror games, but really enjoy watching other people play them. With horror games, I will play normal horror games. I'll just throw the controller quite a lot. But so I'm really excited for Outlast 2 because I really like that. I really enjoyed the first game. I'm intrigued to see where the story goes, and like I don't know loads about it yet, and I'm just kind of intrigued to discover it. And I think it's going to be out. They've not got a proper release date yet. It's going to be sometime in 2017. So yeah, I want to find out a bit more about it.
There you go.
Fair enough.
Right, should we go through some of the feedback that we've got? Let's go round in a circle. I'll start.
Yeah, because we asked our listeners what you're most looking forward to in 2017 from the world of film, games, or TV.
Yes, and so long-time listener, but first time of writing in is Chris Tilley.
Who?
I don't know.
Who could that be?
Chris Tilley?
Chris Tilley.
Anyway, the movies he's most looking forward to is
this-
Trainspotting 2, John Wick 2. That is a good shout.
Yeah,
The original
John
John
Wick.
Wick was amazing. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Baby Driver. Now, I don't know what Baby Driver is.
What's Baby Driver?
I don't know.
Is it like?
Sounds like
is
the
it
sequel
Dale's,
to like Baby's Day Out.
is
right?
it-
He gets a taxi.
Maybe Dale's having a
Is it
child
Dale's
next year.
origin story?
Oh my gosh, yeah, Baby Driver. Editing videos at his little desk.
Excuse me, episode 8 and Mute, which is Duncan Jones's new film, and Joe went on the set of that recently.
This is a really good list.
Thank
it's almost
you.
as if Chris Tilley has good taste in movies.
It's almost as if
He
Tilly's
knows
done
something about
TV
films.
before.
What do you think about a job in online film journalism, Chris?
Next up, we've got Tom Oliver, who says Fallout 4 in VR to see if it's actually going to work or not, which very much nicely links into everything that we were saying about kind of whether we can start seeing massive games working in the VR world. My gut is that Fallout 4 will not work that well because, like I said with Batman Arkham VR, the reason it worked is because they created an entirely new game. They didn't try and get like
Designed for that
Arkham.
platform.
Yeah, they didn't try and say like, oh, let's make Arkham City in PSVR. They said let's make an entirely new experience, and that went really well. I think Fallout 4 in VR is going to be really tricky to make work.
Yeah.
Elliot O'Neill says he's looking forward to the early year films as they're usually all the Oscar contenders, particularly Hacksaw Ridge, which I've seen the trailer for, and it does look incredible. I'm really excited about that one. Plus Wonder Woman to see if DC will ever get it right.
I hope so.
Me too. I have high expectations for that one. It looks
good, but DC need to sort of prove that they can actually
not
nail
make something garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Yes, Elliot. I know Rory is going to be super excited for that. Yes, I am.
He
Yes,
knows
I
you
am,
well.
Elliot.
Well, do you want to pick up the next one because that's aimed at you as well?
Oh my gosh, yeah, it is. I didn't even mention that on my list. How do I pronounce this guy's name? Arjun Tahim?
I think so.
Arjun Tahim? Rick and Morty might return, and after watching it on Netflix, it's reminded me of why I liked it. Such a good show. If you haven't seen Rick and Morty, definitely check it out. Season 1 and 2 are on Netflix right now. I've always liked Spider-Man, so seeing a new one in the MCU will be interesting, and I hope they don't play up Tony Stark too much. How do you guys feel about that? Have you seen him in the new one?
Yeah, I mean, Tony Stark has never been my favorite.
I kind of like him maybe filling in that role of Uncle Ben.
Of, like,
you know, where
mentor.
it's like, like older.
I quite like that
You
stuff
could get some
in-
kind of like awkward
I quite like
relationships
That's fair,
between them.
actually. That's fair. I'm intrigued. Yeah,
think
that's
that
true.
could be really
That's a twist in
cute.
his character. I think it'll be fun
I'm
to see
definitely
play out
more
on
Team
screen.
Stark than Team Cap.
Okay, that's just so wrong on so many levels. Team Cap, I can't get into it now. I could go for another Mass Effect 2, as there's been enough time between them, but I hope it has a different feel rather than Mass Effect with a different crew.
I completely agree with that. Like Mass Effect Andromeda, I really love the look of what we've seen so far in terms of a visual sense. Like it looks stunning, so much lens flare, it's gorgeous. But I know that they've been approaching it that they don't want people who've never played a Mass Effect game to go into Andromeda and feel like, oh, we're not going to understand the world. They really want to see this as a clean break in a new field. And I'm intrigued as to like how new that's going to be, what's going to be different, are we going to feel fatigued in any way? Like, I'm intrigued to see what that'll be.
All right. Stuart Kirkman writes in saying next year is going to be fantastic because Guardians 2, Red Dead 2, South Park, Fractured Butthole. That's right.
Fractured
yes.
Butthole.
Persona 5. Oh man, it feels like Persona has been coming for so long because if you follow Andrew Goldfarb on Twitter,
I know.
oh man,
Jeez,
hello, Andrew.
shut it,
He used to listen to the IGN UK podcast
he?
before he worked at IGN.
Really?
Yes.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, hey Goldfarb, if you still listen.
And then Iron Fist, which I know that Chris
I thought it was someone who wrote in. I was like, what is Iron Fist looking forward to in 2017?
I don't know much about it, but I know that Chris and Krupa had a running gag on the superhero show.
They did, trying to
That
fist different
died
celebrities.
in 2016 as well.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Ross Higgins saying, looking forward to getting invited to a hip party and taking my Nintendo Switch.
Yes,
Who
Ross.
needs craft gin when you've
Yes,
got Pikmin?
Ross.
So true.
Was that like a rhyme? Like, who needs craft gin when you've got Pikmin? Like, I think that might have been what he was going
Are you
for.
going to build that into the next
Who needs
Team Rocket
Yeah,
song?
who needs craft gin when you got Pikmin at a party with the Switch? Not gonna snitch. Done.
There you go.
Kyle Chester Marsden is looking forward to the 400th episode podcast party in and around the beginning of September. Has he worked that out? Has he worked out when?
Has he done the
Well,
math?
He's done our job for us.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind, there are approximately 52 episodes a year.
Uh-huh.
And we've just done 350 back in October.
No, we did.
Carry the one.
We've just, because the last podcast was like 360 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, but so
Or like a few-
350 would have been in
Yeah.
October. So it's basic maths.
Yeah.
I trust
Fact,
Kyle.
Which I'm
it's
struggling
around,
with.
It's around the same time every year. So, but no, he's done a great job of working it out. Roy.
He has. If you want to get the venue as well, that would be amazing.
Well done, Kyle.
if you could sort out, promotion, sponsorship, get the venue sorted, and all the kind of technical stuff, that'd be grand.
That
Thanks
would be
very
great.
much.
Thanks, Kyle.
Tremio Official, I don't think that's his
On
real
Twitter.
name. Says Little Nightmares, which I don't
Yeah.
know that much about.
That's a
Yeah.
Bandai Namco game, I believe.
No. He says, I don't usually get excited about indie games, but I'm really intrigued by
Is
that.
that's not with? Is that not with Bandai Namco? Little Nightmares.
who
I'm gonna
Well,
look
let's
it up
not
right
look
now.
it up now.
Oh,
But I will check that out. Thank you, Tremio
I actually
Official.
have a Little Nightmares keyring, which Gav gave me. Well, you guys had gone to an event, and he came back, and he was like, Alysia, this keyring is for you. I think you'll really, really like this game. And and I've literally still got it. And it's so true. I looked at the trailer and was immediately like, I am so playing that. That looks gorgeous. And
I know.
artsy
What kind of game
and
is it?
noodly.
it's like a indie kind of horror, abstract. It's very weird. Like you basically play as this little creature that moves through. I believe it's like worlds kind of inspired by children's nightmares.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, the
Which sounds
really
terrifying.
heavily
Because
stylized.
have you ever thought about writing the marketing blurb for games? 'Cause it's really good.
I think it's about something about a dark soul. I know the suspense was killing everyone, and it is a Bandai Namco game. So yeah, I know. Don't worry. Don't worry.
But are they publishing it? And then
They're publishing,
and
yeah,
an
so it's an indie
studio
developer, yeah.
is going to be making it. Cool.
Yes, but it looks very cool. Looks very, very cool.
Chris Walker, that is a character from Outlast. So the main baddie in Outlast is telling us that he is most excited for the Final Fantasy 30th anniversary news. !
Christopher
There you go.
Walker.
Yeah.
Simon Morris is looking forward to what Microsoft exclusives are planned next year, especially with the Scorpio on the horizon.
So Crackdown.
Crackdown?
Do you think we'll see another Halo?
I think it's too early.
Do you?
Yeah. Well,
We'll get Forza
I don't know if we'll
Motorsport
get. I don't
6.
think we'll get one in 2017. Maybe announcements towards another one in 2018.
What else have they got? What other big Microsoft games? Because you won't get another Gears because that's
Just
this
came
year.
out. What? Gears, Halo. Those are the only ones I really
Forza.
play. Forza.
Forza Motorsport, whatever
Yeah.
it is, will definitely come out.
But yeah, they're gonna have to have something. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
And then finally, Stu Horton says, doesn't matter because they're having their first baby in February. So
Aw.
he says, goodbye pop culture, it's been fun. And I can say that's absolutely true. Yes. Maybe not, like, if your baby's due in February, then maybe by the time that Red Dead comes out, you'll be settled enough to start getting some gunslinging in.
Kind
Stu,
of
I
terrible
would-
timing for Horizon Zero Dawn, though, which comes out in March.
Well, so the reason I didn't play the original Red Dead was because it came out while I was on paternity leave.
No way.
So literally the worst time it could have happened.
Which is ironic
That's a really
because
good
John
reason.
Marston is a great father, and he would have taught you some great lessons about how to protect your family from gunmen.
Which is something I have needed. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it sounds like you're training up your kids to be the gunman with
Well, no,
P
just-
having a sniper rifle
Well,
to get
well,
a double
also,
decker
just
from
to
the
go and
local
get me
shops.
a double decker duo from the Tesco petrol station. Right, yeah. Anyway, That is it for this podcast and also for 2016.
Crazy.
So one more thing before we finish, we have 2 signed posters to give away for the Assassin's Creed movie, signed by Michael Fassbender, Marion Cotillard, and Justin Kurzel, who's the director. To win these fantabulous prizes, all you need to do is email into, I always get this wrong, is it IGN_UK feedback at IGN.com.
Yes.
Boom!
Nailed
Do
it.
that and tell us what is the name of the character that Michael Fassbender plays in the movies.
Obviously include your name, your address, your age, all of that malarkey.
All of the things. So we
email
can steal
address
your
and phone
identity.
number.
Send you a
We just need to get in contact with these people. That's all. We don't want to
okay.
hurt them or do anything wrong.
I will let them know, just a warning, the name in the movie isn't Assassin's Creed. I submitted that, and apparently that was wrong, so I'm out of the comp, unfortunately. But best of just take my knowledge and
Apollo Creed's
run
other
with
son.
it. Yeah, exactly. Followed a different profession. But best of luck.
That is it for this podcast and for this year. So happy New Year, and we will see you in 2017.
See you guys next year.
Bye-bye.
Bye.